You don't need a big change to start enjoying life again. Just a small moment that feels real. And maybe that's what's been missing. Because lately, it's not that your life is bad, it just feels flat. You wake up, you go through your day, you do what you're supposed to do, and nothing is really wrong, but nothing really feels right either. You laugh sometimes, you talk to people, you keep things moving. But deep down, there's this quiet distance between you and your own life, like you're watching it instead of actually living it. And the strange part is, you can't even explain when this started. It just slowly became normal. And no one really talks about this feeling, because from the outside, you look completely fine. But inside, everything feels a little muted, a little disconnected, a little empty. And if you've been feeling this way for a while, it's not because you've lost yourself. It's because your mind has been trying to protect you in a way that worked before, but now it's quietly taking something away. Because when your brain goes through stress or emotional overload, it doesn't always react loudly. Sometimes it does the opposite. It turns the volume down on everything, on excitement, on joy, on curiosity, not to harm you, but to keep you stable, safe, predictable. And that's why life can start to feel like this, not painful, but not meaningful either. And here's what most people don't realize. You don't fix this by forcing happiness. You fix it by slowly reconnecting, one small moment at a time. So let's talk about the quiet signs that you've disconnected from enjoying life and how to gently come back, because it's not as far as it feels. Sign number 1, you don't look forward to things anymore. There was a time when small things felt exciting, a message, a plan, even a quiet evening. But now, everything feels the same before it even happens. You say yes to things, but you don't feel anything about them. Or you say no because it doesn't seem worth the effort. This usually happens when your brain stops expecting reward. When you've been overwhelmed or emotionally drained for too long, your mind lowers anticipation to protect you from disappointment. Psychologically, this means your reward system has gone quiet, not broken, and that's why nothing feels exciting, even if it used to. Sign number 2, you feel tired even when you haven't done much. Not physical tired, a different kind, the kind where even simple things feel like effort. Replying to a message, getting out of bed, starting something small. It feels heavier than it should. This usually happens when your mental energy is constantly being used in the background, overthinking, holding emotions in, trying to stay okay. Psychologically, this means your brain is using energy to regulate your emotions instead of letting you feel naturally. So even when you're doing nothing, you're actually doing a lot internally. Sign number 3, you scroll but don't feel anything. You watch videos, you check your phone, you move from one thing to another, but nothing really lands, nothing stays with you. It's just noise. This usually happens when your brain is seeking stimulation, but not connection. Fast content gives quick distraction, but no emotional depth. Psychologically, this creates a loop. The more you scroll, the less you feel, and the less you feel, the more you scroll. Not because you're addicted, but because you're trying to feel something again. Sign number 4, you avoid quiet moments. Even when you're alone, you keep something playing. Music, videos, background noise, because silence feels uncomfortable. Not scary, just too empty. This usually happens when your mind has things it hasn't processed yet, and silence removes the distraction. Psychologically, your brain associates quiet with emotional exposure, so it keeps you busy to keep you protected. Sign number 5, you feel disconnected from people, even when you're with them. You talk, you listen, you respond, but something feels slightly off, like you're not fully there, like you're watching yourself interact instead of being in the moment. This usually happens when you've learned to be present physically, but not emotionally. Psychologically, this is a form of detachment. Not because you don't care, but because your brain is trying to reduce emotional load. And slowly, that distance becomes your default. And if you relate to even a few of these, there's something important you need to hear. The problem isn't that you forgot how to enjoy life. The problem is you've been in survival mode for too long. And survival mode doesn't focus on joy. It focuses on getting through, staying stable, avoiding pain. And you got really good at that, quietly, without even noticing. But here's the part most people miss. What protects you in one phase of your life can disconnect you in another. And that doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It means you're ready for something different now. Not a big change, not a complete reset, just a gentle shift, back towards feeling, back towards presence, back towards yourself. Because the truth is, you were never empty. You just stopped noticing what was already there. So how do you start enjoying life again, without forcing it, without pretending, without overwhelming yourself? You don't chase big moments. You rebuild small ones, very small ones. Start with this. Pick one moment in your day, just one, and instead of rushing through it, stay there for a few extra seconds. It could be your morning coffee, the way the air feels when you step outside, the silence before you go to sleep. Don't analyze it. Don't try to make it meaningful. Just notice it. Because enjoyment doesn't come from intensity. It comes from attention. And attention is something you can gently bring back. Another small shift. Do one thing slightly slower than usual. Walk a little slower. Eat a little slower. Even speak a little slower. Not to be mindful in a forced way, but to let your brain catch up with your body. Because right now, you're always a few steps ahead of your own experience, and slowing down closes that gap. And one more thing, reduce one layer of noise. Not everything, just one. Maybe you don't check your phone first thing in the morning. Maybe you sit in silence for a minute longer than usual. Maybe you turn something off instead of turning something on. Because when the noise lowers, your awareness increases, and awareness is where enjoyment begins again. But here's the deeper truth, and this part matters the most. You don't need to become a different person to enjoy life again. You don't need a routine or a perfect mindset or a complete transformation. You just need to stop disconnecting from the moments that are already yours, because they're still there, waiting, quietly. And when you start noticing them again, something shifts. Not instantly, not dramatically, but gently. You begin to feel a little more present, a little more real, a little more connected. And over time, those small moments start adding up. A breath that feels deeper, a laugh that feels genuine, a moment that doesn't need to be distracted from. And one day, you realize something changed. Not your life, but your relationship with it. So if things feel dull right now, it doesn't mean you've lost your ability to feel. It means your mind has been protecting you for a long time, and now it's slowly ready to let you feel again. Not all at once, just a little more than before. You don't need to rush this. You don't need to fix everything. You just need to stay a little longer in the moments that feel real, because that's where it starts. You're not disconnected forever. You're just slowly finding your way back. And maybe that's how you begin enjoying life again.